Hi everyone, it's Sunday, November 22nd, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. It was a mixed week across the globe for the Hide market. Some sectors are going strong and others not so much. Especially in parts of Europe and the US, spikes in COVID-19 are increasing and new restrictions on activities are being put into place. Starting with Europe this time around, editor Andrea Guolo reports that it was a quieter week than the last for the Hide market. In general, tanneries have orders through Christmas, and not surprisingly, it's those that work for the automotive and upholstery sectors that are really going full tilt. Those for footwear, as we said, not so much. With regard to the 36 plus English ox, it was a good week with prices steady. Sellers are asking for 95 cents sterling per kilo, and they're actually getting 90 cents per kilo. In Ireland, slaughter's down and prices remain stable, and that is at 80 to 85 cents in euros per kilo. European bulls are still seeing good demand, and that's again thanks to the upholstery and automotive buyers. Selections in southern Germany have decreased a little in recent weeks, but that might not be the case going forward, Andrea says. For now, though, they remain at €1.25 per kilo. Some origins last week for bulls did see appreciable increases, so you'll want to check the report for those numbers. Cows across the board are seeing a mixed market with ups and downs, all depending on the origin. Southern German cows, for example, are now at €1 per kilo. In the veal skin market, serious problems continue to plague this sector, and there have been additional decreases for the prices. In his analysis this week, Andrea looks at the work levels in tanneries along with a breakdown of the prices and what Brazilian TR1 has to do with the current situation. And speaking of Brazil, editor Ronald Guiel tells us that raw material prices are still on the rise. The price of fresh hides edged up another 2 cents this week, and they're selling for R1, 9 cents per kilo. That said, TR1 is still holding on to steady levels, selling for 78 cents per square foot in US dollars. In other news from Brazil, the country held a number of webinars and online sessions for the industry over the past week or so, and the Zero Grau Footwear Fair was held in person as the country's first face-to-face event in 2020. Elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's refrigerators are making big investments to increase capacity and push beef exports up to 40% higher, which of course will increase the supply of hides. In Colombia, a number of brands are taking on some new openings and collaborations. A Mexican footwear label is expanding to Uruguay, and in Paraguay, JBS has confirmed it's evaluating investments there for 2021. Turning to the United States again, this week, packers had little to offer due to their good positions. The most popular steers saw some incrementally higher levels, but overall the market was steady. Sellers noted that Chinese buyers were less active this week, and in our observations we talk about what one of the factors for that could be. Despite some increases, higher prices are still very hard to get. And that said, a dip in slaughter would not be surprising in the coming weeks, as the various major meat plants are largely in the Midwest, where COVID infection rates are raging and employee absences are on the rise, so the producers tell me. After last week's after the previous week's steady levels, last week heavy Texas steers gained another $1 to sell at a high of $30 for seasonal 62, 64 pound selections. This selection is still in short supply, which is helping support the price. Slaughter for the week through Saturday, November 21st was 665,000, and that's 2% higher than last week. Combined export sales were quite poor this week at 355,300, and that's down another 23% from the previous week, which was already 20% lower. Combined shipments were surprisingly higher this week, and that's surprising because there are a lot of the shipping problems going on, which we talked about in last week's report. And this week they were higher by 30% at 602,500. The coming week is the Thanksgiving holiday in the United States, so everyone will be off on Thursday, and many people will be off on Friday as well. So HideNet will not have a daily report on Thursday, and the weekly will be an abbreviated one. But until next week, until next Sunday night, good night from HideNet.